Hello everyone, this is Hamid Sharif, and in this video we are going to look at lesson planning and what is included in on the lesson plan, language analysis, etc. Okay, so first let's discuss what we have on the lesson plan, how many pages, what's included in each page, and so on. So first, on the lesson plan basically consists of 3 pages, and it doesn't matter if the template is different from a center to another, but it normally consists of 3 main pages. So we have the cover page, we have the procedure page, and we have the language analysis. And I'm going to show you how all of these look like before we discuss the features in detail or the components in detail. Okay, so regarding the pages, okay, now this is, for example, a Delta lesson plan template. And again, as I said before, do not worry if the template is different, the components will still be the same. So we have the details on top. We have the aims, the main aims, sub aims, the target sentences of vocabulary in case you're teaching vocabulary, personal aims, the lesson type, whether it's vocabulary, grammar, so language lessons, whether it's receptive skills lessons, etc. It's mentioned here. Some other centers do not use this template, so it's absolutely fine. Let's focus more on the components, not the template. Okay, also we have something that we call anticipated problems and solutions. So basically, this is what we mean by a cover page. This is the first page on the Delta lesson plan. Regarding the language analysis, it depends whether you're analyzing vocabulary or grammar. So you will need to fill the language analysis sheet depending on what you're teaching. And we'll look at some examples later on in this video. So keep watching. Okay. So this is basically the language analysis. And then we move to the procedure page in which we have different items that need to be filled, like what the stage is, the aim, interaction patterns and timing, procedure, and of course the last column which says observation and suggestion. This is up to the tutor, so you don't need to write anything here. And we will go through again all of these in more detail. Okay, now some centers would require you to add your material as a screenshot after the procedure, which is always a good thing for the tutors to look at. So if you can do that, it will be much appreciated because the tutors will need to look at these handouts while you're teaching. Okay, so let's start first with the aims, how to write your aims, whether they are sub-aims or main aims. Okay, so the first thing on the cover page, as we mentioned, is the aims. Okay, so first, what you need to know about your aims is that they need to be small, and each letter stands for a word. So, for example, the S means specific, the M means measurable, A achievable, relevant, and time bound. And because on the Delta or any other place you will be teaching and you are governed by a specific time, so you will need to create your aim based on that time and that you can achieve your aims within the time given, and they can be measurable, something that tutors or the observing people can measure whether you achieved your aims or not. So, for example, we can have some templates to use, and it doesn't matter what your aim is. You can use all these templates to save yourself time and thinking when you're writing your aims. So these are some examples related to different lessons. So for example, if you're teaching grammar, vocabulary, functional language, you can say to provide, and you choose like what are you providing? Is it clarification? Is it reviewing something? Is it practice? Normally on Delta courses, on Delta TPs, we provide 2 things, clarification and the practice. So you will need to mention like to provide clarification and the practice of what, like what are you teaching? For example, to provide clarification and the practice of the present simple in the context of daily routines. For example, this is just an example. And again, we'll look at how we put it in the lesson plan later on. Regarding reading, for example, we can say to provide just specific detailed or inference reading. And normally, again, on the Delta course, we provide In each 45-minute lesson, we provide like the students with practice on two skills, like just on something else, or maybe specific and detail. So normally we have two sub skills to focus on. Same with listening. Speaking and writing are a little bit different. So in the speaking lessons, you will need to decide first what you're teaching or what you're focusing on. Basically, is it fluency or accuracy? And then you choose one of those. And then you mention the task type, whether it's a role play, a debate, whatever. And you mention the context. So, for example, to provide fluency speaking practice in a role play in the context of ordering in a restaurant or customer and a waiter. Writing, again, can be a little bit different because in writing, you have two different kinds of writing, like whether it's a process or product. Of course, we have three, but on the CELTA, we focus more on those. And the commonly used one would be basically the product writing. So to provide product writing practice of, again, you mentioned the thoughts type, whether it's an email, an essay, whatever, in the context of, and you mentioned the context of the lesson. So we can say, for example, to provide product writing practice of an email or an email of complaint in the context of complaining in a hotel, for example. So this is basically about the main and sub aims. And of course, you can use any of them for main as a main aim or as a sub aim, depending on your lesson. So you don't have to mention something that is not measurable. Try to use these to help you write your main and sub aims. Also, you can use the famous template, like by the end of the lesson, students will be better able to maybe use the present simple. So again, we need something measurable. The verbs like use, etc. Those are measurable verbs. But if you use something like understand, be familiar with, this is not actually something that we can measure, and it wouldn't be clear on the CELTA lesson plan or in any lesson plan. So basically, this is a quick introduction to writing main aims and sub aims, and we'll be looking at a complete lesson plan later on at the end of the video.